Hey guys, this is Jella and welcome back to my channel. We are now at 4,000 subs. Thank you guys so much for your support. I appreciate all of you, especially those comments that cheers me up. I hope we can reach 10K this summer. Anyways, we are now part 4 in our Korean town series where we are making an inspiration of Sangmun-dong, Seoul. This town is getting a bit into the modern side. So we will be making a Korean fried chicken place for today's video. If you want to build this too, then keep on watching. So the last two parts that we made are from the middle block. And now our Korean fried chicken store will be in this area. As you can see, these are buildings close to each other. I made this layout so we can make this area into a shopping district. The customers would surely get hungry, so the first store here is the fried chicken shop. I had to redo the flooring in here because my first layout was just 6 shops, 2 in each aisle. But I wanted this to have more, so I made the middle building with 4 shops. I added a fence marking earlier so I know where the shops would end. But here I'm adding another marking for the partition of each shops that we will be making in the next parts of this town series. So this corner is where we will be adding the fried chicken shop. This is a 5 by 6 square shop. Not that big, but I wanted to add more shops in here so some shops would have smaller floor area. I'm also adding the building next to it so that in the next part, we will just have to do the interior. I made the fried chicken shop 2-story high, and then the next building is 3-story since it has a smaller floor space. Then we will use this tile texture with dark stone gray color. And then I will just make the next building a brick texture with rust color. Now we will add a flat roof on the 3-story building. And I'm just gonna color it black with vertical wood panel texture. Now for the fried chicken shop building, we will use a slanted roof and extend it a bit using the medium grid line. And I'm gonna use the vertical wood panel texture for the top part as well. Color the side of the roof the same as the building. I'm not gonna use the second floor of this building, so it's alright that the logo we will be adding would cover a bit of the higher floor. We are going to make the fried chicken shop signage using the basic cube, just like what we did for the Korean restaurant. The front of the shop building is not the same length as the side. So for the front, the cubes would be smaller than the one we will place on the side. Try to measure the cubes first if it would fit with each other. Then color this to black so it would be cheaper when duplicated later on. Then add the huge painting and rescale it to fit the signage we made. If you don't want to make this again, you can just copy the signage logo that we have from the family restaurant.
요새 너 조금 이상해졌어 자꾸만 시도 때도 없이 시무룩하고 고민이 생겼니 초등학교 영어 수업 시간에 배웠었던 현재 진행형 같아 하루에 10번 내 맘이 움직여
I brought down the signage logo so we can change the decals easily. And all the decals I made will be in the description box. Now place the signages on top of the flooring and make sure it is aligned before deleting the floor. Now this is how the signages looks like right now. I made the logo separately since we cannot extend one frame into a really wide length. That's why I used 2 decals and just bring them together. I added a ceiling trim and colored it black. Okay, now we will just copy the windows from the GS25 building because I don't want to make another window for this one. The backside is really empty, but let's leave that for now. Going inside, add a 3 by 3 room on the corner for the kitchen. It is not that big, but at least we can fit a decent kitchen space. Then copy the color of the wall the same as the exterior we have. Just on the right side and the kitchen wall as an accent design. For the other walls, just use oyster color with plaster texture. Then for the flooring, I'm going to use the mosaic tiles and color this oyster as well. Now use this commercial swinging door for the kitchen and just place it on the left side. We need to leave space on the right for a dining area. I added this sunset window frame for the order area and don't rescale the window wider. I will be rescaling it back to the original size because I will be adding menu frames on the right side. Again, I'm using my favorite door for commercial buildings. Then we will use this large panel window. I won't be resizing this since the size is perfect. Just color the glass window to dark stone gray. I also placed 2 more windows on the side so the people walking by would see the scrumdiddly yum yum chicken. The back side of the building is looking so empty. That's why I added this medium panel window, so there would be something going on this side. Moving to our dining seats, we can only fit a few tables inside because of the layout. So I'm going to use this square table, and I was looking for a chair that would be perfect in here. Didn't know which to use, so I sticked with this arched chair and color this with the ongoing color theme, which was dark gray and mustard yellow. I changed the color of the tabletop to light stone gray since it looks more fast food restaurant type of table than having a wooden texture. And I'm gonna add 3 tables on this row. I tried fitting a table of 4, but it is too cramped with the kitchen window on the right. So I would be adding a table for 4 in this area. I wanted to have at least 2 family tables, but given the space here, I didn't want it to be super cramped. Even though we can really fit the tables with no walk space, I still want the customers to really walk through table gaps and all. You know what I mean? So I used the simple sofa chair as a back wall booth type of seat. And yeah, so I settled with having only 1 family table on the left and another table on the right. I didn't want to add a lonely middle table because who would want to eat in the middle and be passed by people around? Anyways, moving to our kitchen, I actually made a 3x3 room here to fit a decent amount of counter space and prep area. But I just couldn't fit a middle station, so the counters would just make a C-shaped kitchen. This is why I mentioned earlier that I would rescale the window back to its original width because of the counter space. I didn't want the window peeking on an empty space, so I will just add a trash bin in there later on. Now I'm using the square painting and resize this to fit the long space here. This is an opportunity to place the menu board for our restaurant. I also added smaller paintings on the bottom of the window for some chicken posters. I just had to arrange the placement of the paintings because the gaps are giving me OCD. I also added another poster ad on the back wall. And of course, we have to add a high chair since this restaurant is family friendly. Okay, going back to the kitchen. Sorry guys if I go back and forth when I suddenly remember to do this or that. But anyways, I just colored the counters to medium stone gray as this is the typical stainless counters for commercial kitchens. I also colored the fridge and stove to gray since that is what the appliances for restaurants have. If you want to use the commercial stove, which is quite expensive, feel free to do so. It would look much better. But since I'm a cheapskate, I'll just use this. I added the washing area on the back counter wall. And since we are a fried chicken restaurant, we would need deep fryers. So I'll add 2 beside the stove. You can also use the larger fryer, but since we have a small space, I'll just use this one. And then place this food warmer on the corner because this is the only chicken that we have in game. We will just refill the tray later after we exit build mode. I'm gonna add some kitchen clutters, so if you want to add more decors, you can do so. I'm just placing a bit because I'm still thinking of the plot data once we fill this town.
걱정되고 보고 싶은 이런 기분은 현재 진행형 사실은 나도 뭐가 뭔지 잘 모르겠어 어쩌다 우리 여기까지 알 수 없는 비동사 플러스 ing LOV를 붙여보면 사랑인 것 같고 say goodbye를 붙여보면 헤어질 것 같아서 ing just ing 내 맘은 아직 ing
To fill a bit of the back wall, place some overhead cabinets to make the kitchen less empty. I'm using these cheap cabinets and leave it empty so we can save a bit of the plot data. And since the walls here look super dark, I decided to color this to oyster instead. I think it looks better compared to the wall color earlier. I'm adding this bulletin board for the orders. But I will be moving this board to the other side because I would be placing a window in this space. Don't forget to recolor the trash bin and place a tray on top just to add some details. You can also leave that color if you prefer the orangey wood. You can color the umbrella stand to your preference. Now add more posters on the side. I also placed a floor poster stand by the door so we can advertise the restaurant. And then add a rubber mat by the entrance door and on the ordering window. I just rescaled the rubber mat, but you can leave it as is if you want to save a bit money. I placed down 3 of the sauce bottle because one is ketchup, one is ranch, and one is honey mustard. There's usually a lot more flavors, but we have 3 for now. I moved the dispenser on the left side. And you may wonder why I placed a cup dispenser? This is a pretend plastic bowl for rice and chicken when they are ordered for takeout. And as I mentioned earlier, I moved the board to the other side because if you look at the back wall of this building, this is too plain. So I decided to add a small window for the kitchen. I used this thin horizontal window and colored this the same as the windows of this restaurant. I wanted to add a cleaning supply, so I moved the trash bin and placed this bucket on the corner wall. Because I don't want to spend Bloxburg for a cash register, I always use the toy cash register for my other builds that are commercial stores. I just added a money on the side and a takeout bag for roleplay purpose. I went out of build mode earlier to change the decals, and this decals that I made are in the description box as well. I forgot to add a rubber mat in our kitchen, so just place one in the middle. Okay, moving to our lighting, I'm gonna use the elderly lamp in here. And again, you can change the color of the bulb to adjust the vibe of the room you want. So, if you want a warmer tone, color it a bit yellowish or light yellow. If you want a cool white light, then use a hurricane gray. Then I copied the ceiling trim from outside and placed it on the accent walls only. And since we don't have a fried chicken in game, we are going to make a pretend chicken. I also used this in the GS25 convenience store. So just add a plate on the bottom and place 3 sets of the shells. For the original fried chicken look, color this to gold. I made the serving plate color black so the chicken would be more visible. Okay, it is giving fried chicken. I hope we really have one in the future, so for now, let's pretend it looks like chicken, hee. So here I placed 2 serving plates of chicken because I will color the other plate to a different flavor. Color this to CGA brown to give it a spicy, saucy look. This is a pretend Yeongnam chicken. Sorry for the mispronounced words here. I don't know how to really say it, especially with the AI voice. Anyways, I added a chopstick on the side, even though we use our hands to eat fried chicken. I think a great detail to make this look like a Korean fried chicken restaurant is the chopsticks. And the great pair for fried chicken is a pickled radish. But since we don't have here, I will just use the kimchi bowl we have in game. I forgot to add napkins on each table earlier, so let's place that. And we have this wall a bit empty looking, so I copied the chicken posters and placed it here. I also added this neon sign because it just looks cute to be placed here, even though it should be placed outside, hee. Anyways, the other building beside our fried chicken restaurant will be done on the next part of this series. So for now, I just copied the windows and filled this building so it wouldn't look empty later. Okay, let's make the backside of our chicken restaurant, and I just copied the dumpster from the convenience store. Add the chain fence to close off this private property and add a fence gate as well. I added some trash bags for more detail and placed a box under one of the trash bags. Feel free to add more posters if you like. Then I copied the pipeline from the other buildings. I placed a folding chair for waiting customers because the front looks empty for now since it's the first building on our shopping district. Anyways, the restaurant is done, but I wanted to change the flooring in our town because the concrete was too plain for my liking. So I decided to use this blocks for the sidewalk area. And then I colored the elevated sidewalk from the main highway road to sand red color. I think it looks much better, right? So sorry, I had to spend a bit money to recolor this. We have to recolor the short markings as well. And this is part 4 in our Korean town series so far. Our town is now costing $233,456. We added our first store in our shopping district, which is our Korean fried chicken restaurant. So this is how it looks like right now. You can definitely see the building because this side is empty, but imagine the next parts where we fill all these. I added this folding chairs for the customers waiting, especially we only have a few seats inside. And I copied the signage and just changed the decals. Here is a side view of the restaurant when you are walking towards the shopping district. You can see the fried chicken. I'm getting hungry now, hee. We have a poster ad in here which makes me even hungrier. Anyways, let's get inside. We have the umbrellas by the door because we don't know when it's gonna rain. And so this is how the inside looks like. Very simple, nothing fancy because it's just a fried chicken restaurant. What I love about is the pretend fried chicken. Like, look at this serving plate, it looks real for me. My imagination has gone wild again. I can't unsee it being a chicken. Also, I added a pretend bowl of rice as well. I copied the one that I made from the family-owned restaurant. I just used a round mat that I resized and recolored to make it look like rice. Anyways, in this table we have the yongnaeom chicken and the buttered flavor. I think it looks good for me because I made it, but what do you guys think though? Let's go to the other side, and here we have another order of the sweet spicy chicken. This is the kitchen window where you also order. All the menu decals that I made will be in the description box if you guys would like to use as well. You can also really peek inside of the kitchen if you get too close in here. Sorry for a bit of mess in here, but this is our small kitchen. It's actually not that small since this is a 3x3 room. Here we have the prepping counter, and this are the newly fried chicken. I didn't use this on the table outside because I wanted the fried chicken to look similar to the other flavor. So yeah, this is our kitchen. Very clean and organized. Let me just show you the outside. If you remembered, we shortened this to a 2-square path. So 2 more buildings facing the fried chicken restaurant. And this building is empty for now, but we will be adding another restaurant on the ground floor. Let me show you the backside of the fried chicken restaurant. I didn't want to leave it plain and empty since this is a town build. We have to make sure all sides would look normal and decent. This is as clean as it gets, just a dumpster, trash bags, and box of ingredients. And that is the end of our tour for the fried chicken restaurant. Thank you guys for watching the part 4 in our Korean town series. We have a lot more parts to go. Anyways, I would appreciate your support by giving this video a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Also click on the notification bell so you won't miss the latest videos I upload. Help me reach my goal of 10,000 subs. This would help me a lot, especially in making future videos for you all. Have a wonderful day, afternoon, or night. Love you all and take care. See you on my next video.